Hello, everybody. Let me check my audio really quickly. There it is. How are we doing today? Hope we're doing good. Hope your weekend is going great. I am doing just fine. I think I've been like under the weather for like the last half week, and I think I finally just got over whatever it was. So I'm pretty energetic. I'm feeling good. I got my coffee. I got a nice flight plan loaded up today. I don't know if this is gonna work because there isn't a lot of super good wind coming off these mountains, but we're gonna try. The plan today, everybody, is gonna be that we're going to fly from this airport, San Manuel, down to Biosphere 2. This is in New Mexico. Or no, this is Arizona. I'm sorry, dumb. Sorry, Arizona. Is this New Mexico? Tucson? Yeah, Tucson's in New Mexico. Or Tucson's in Arizona. Sorry, I'm dumb. Anyways, we're going to fly, we're going to glide down to Biosphere 2. And then the plan is to try to make it all the way down to the aircraft graveyard in Tucson. I've seen it on Google Maps, and it's really cool. And I'd love to see how Microsoft Flight Simulator renders it. I don't know if we'll actually be able to make it. The glider I've chosen is the DG-1001E Neo. The reason I did is it does have that backup electric motor. So if we find ourselves a little low or we can't find any good wind, and I'm hoping the wind will pick up as the day goes on, we should, and this is a big should be able to just kick that little electric motor on and fly our way through this flight plan. It's a 36-minute flight plan. It'll probably take a little bit longer, but I think it's just like a really cool, good flight. Hey, what's up, Lazy? Right in here in the beginning, eh? God, I almost went Canadian there for a second. All right, here we go. So let's get flying, and let's hope this works out. Don't forget, everybody, we are doing Portal tomorrow. Portal's coming up by popular demand. Singles of people want me to play that game. Oh, it's all about Plankton. What he lacks in size, he makes up for in brains and pure hatred. Like, Plankton is actually one of my... It's very interesting having watched SpongeBob since almost the beginning. It's very interesting that as you get older, your favorite characters change. So, like, I think a lot of people really kind of sympathize with SpongeBob in the beginning of the show, or when they're younger. But as you get older, you do kind of begin sympathizing with characters like Squidward or Plankton. You know, the show changes as you change. All right, here we go. Now, first, what I want to make sure, let's get all this crazy crap turned off. What we want to do first, everybody, is we want to go ahead and let's get our anti-collision lights on. I want to make sure our main switch, our standby battery is ready to go. Let's go ahead and flip that cover up because we're going to need it eventually. Get our FCU power turned on. Okay. What we're doing, we are playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator today. We're going to go on do a bit of glide touring if I can find the right wind. The plan being, we're going to fly down to BIOS. Did it erase my beautiful flight plan that I made? It did! Why you do this, game? Well, let's see if we can find Tucson Regional. This is, well, I think it's south of us. Lame. It erased my beautiful, beautiful flight plan. Well, we were going to fly down to Tucson. I mean, there we go. So we'll fly towards KDMA, and I'll just do it manually. So we just need to turn south. Give me 1 second here. Make sure that's working. Okay. So the plan is we're going to turn south, and I don't think we'll be able to find the biosphere, but we're going to try to go find an aircraft graveyard, and we're going to glide tour down to it. So, yeah, that's the plan. And we should be able to see it pretty easily from the sky. Like, this is a pretty well-known landmark. I don't know why that's holding up there, but okay. So anyways, yeah, that is our plan. I'm going to go ahead and trim us out for takeoff and get my glider ready to go here. So yeah, Lazy, I know that you just started hanging out recently with us. Yeah, certain days of the weekend, I do play quite a bit of Microsoft Flight Simulator because this game makes me... It's just relaxing. You know, it's a relaxing experience. All right, check, we're good. Check, we're good. All right, here we go, everybody. Deep breath. Wiggle my rudder to tell the plane I'm ready to fly. Here he goes, he's throttling up. We are flying a DG something or other 1000 Neo. Oh my god, hang on. Give me 1 second. I gotta concentrate for just a second here, everybody. Until we get up to speed. There we go. Now we've got some control. Where are we flying? To where? We are gonna fly down to Tucson, Arizona and look at an aircraft graveyard. It's actually huge. You can see it really easily on Google Maps. All right, come on. There we go. We're up. Now we just got to let him get up. We don't want to get too high because that'll pull his nose down. Landing gear coming up. I'm going to trim her up just a little bit. Oh, he's got really good climb rate with me behind him. All right, and we're just going to let him tow us up. Now, this is a touring glider. Spud, I think you've seen me fly this thing before. If push comes to shove and we find ourselves too low or we can't find enough lift, one of the things that makes this a touring glider or a touring sailplane is I have a little tiny electric motor and a small battery pack, which I can use to give myself a little bit of lift if need be. So it has a tiny little engine on it, or, well, electric motor that I can flip on and give myself about 30 to 40 minutes of powered flight, if need be, to try to gain altitude. I genuinely love gliding in this game. It's like one of my favorite things in the world to do. Takeoff like this when you're behind the tow plane can be a little stressful, but once you go ahead and cut the line, it just becomes very relaxing and chill. Because you're kind of, you have to, you know, what's that? You got to be one with nature and see the air currents. And there's actually a kind of a little cheat that you can do. Well, it's not even a cheat. It's built into the game, but there is a button you can press where it will show you where updrafts are to kind of help you out. But usually in the beginning, I try to do it all by myself and be a super good glider pilot and just enjoy the fun of trying to go find lift. And then, you know, when you're also, you know, when you're also adding in trying to travel, that makes it even more fun because you really have to kind of strategize and think, okay, did I catch enough lift off this ridge? Should I fly over to that ridge yet, or maybe try to catch a bit more here? It becomes a game. Okay, we're looking great right now. This is a really, really coordinated takeoff. Usually my takeoffs are, on gliders are a little bit more, what's the word? Exciting. And I'm gonna, typically I'll cut loose pretty quickly from my tow plane, but today I'm gonna let this nice plane tow me just as high as he cares to. And then we'll turn south or towards the ridge to our south and go see if we can find some lift. I mean, last week, if you go check my VODs on YouTube, I did stall an Optica directly into a mountain lake while being one with nature. But yeah, we're just gonna let this nice little airplane, he'll waggle his wings when it's time for me to let go of him. But yeah, we're just gonna let him keep towing us, get as much altitude as we possibly can. fell out a little bit behind him, but we're gonna... Yeah, that's what I heard. It's coming up. We're getting ready to have another launch, yet again another launch system ready to go. I mean, and this is ULA has had up until SpaceX showed up. ULA had, I wouldn't say a monopoly, but they were a very, very powerful launch organization. All right, here we go, everybody. He's waggling his wings, and we're free. Goodbye, little airplane. Okay, we actually want to turn south, so let's go ahead and let's check for him. Oh, he's coming my way. Oh, crap. Whoa. All right. So, sorry, I got distracted by almost dying there for a second. So, the United Launch Alliance, yeah, I wouldn't call it like a true monopoly, but they had a large portion of the launch market in the States for a very long time. And frankly, like, SpaceX's arrival kind of was a shakeup I think that the industry needed. So it's going to be really interesting to see what their new Vulcan performs like. I know they have some weird plan to, like, not save the fuel tank, but to save all the engines once they've proven the rocket. Like, a different block of them is going to have this system that, like, ejects the engines and uses, like, an inflatable heat shield to slow them down and bring them back down to Earth. Something like that. It's wacky. Alright. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to that ridge, but I bet you we can make it to this one over here. So I'm just going to gently bring us, try to stay coordinated in this turn and bring us over this way.
Echo 77, traffic says the Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha 1 miles east 5,300 feet inbound to land runway 29er.
Alright, I just want to get my, what is it? I want to get my variometer sound on there so I can focus less on my gauges and more on talking to you guys. I know it can sound a little bit annoying, but that little tone is so unbelievably valuable when you're flying a glider. The first glider flight I did for you guys a couple weeks ago, something bugged and I didn't have my variometer, and it was, well, at least my variometer sound, and it was like kind of like hard to fly that mission. Okay. So, I'm just trying to get us trimmed into a nice glide path here. And we're going to try to go and catch lift off of this ridge up in front of us. But yeah, ULA's Vulcan launch is coming up, which is very exciting. More launchers, more competition, always good. Okay, come on. All right. Sorry, this is a little more stressful than I was hoping it would be. There's some lift. So a solid tone on a variometer means we are descending. The higher pitched the tone, the faster the descent. A beeping from the variometer means we are climbing. Higher pitched beep means the faster the ascent. So you can kind of just, when you're gliding, listen to those tones, rather than constantly staring down at your variometer gauge, which is the one just to the right of the multi-function display in this thing. All right. But yeah, I thought we'd do a quick glider flight, and then I would like to fly a seaplane today. I've been talking about seaplanes on the last couple Microsoft Flight Simulator streams, and I think I want to, maybe we go down to, like, Florida or the Caribbean, and we do a little flight simulator or training. Or, depending on what you guys want to see, we can go fly some bush planes in the Himalayas. I'll leave it up to my small but devoted chat what we do. Because it's been a long... I know, we're good. We're good. You're fine. It's been a long time since I've flown in the Himalayas, and I do really enjoy bush flying out there. Alright, I'm hoping that as we get up on this ridge line here, we're going to find the lift that we're looking for. Okay, here we go. Come on. Any second now, you're going to hear that variometer start beeping like crazy, and we're just going to soar into the sky. Any second now. Any second now. Alright, you know what? See, I almost turned on the engine, or the electric motor there, but then it, like, made a noise that made me think, oh, it's thinking about it. There's something. There's something. Okay, you can hear it. We're getting some beeps. We're starting to climb. Okay. But the beeps are happening. Every now and then we get a couple, but we kind of need a lot. And I know up at the top of that ridgeline, winds down here are not super fast today, but I know on the top of that ridgeline, there's going to be like a little mini mountain wave that we can ride. All right, let's go ahead and kick the motor on here. And we'll just bring her up to like a half throttle. And we'll use this to get to the top of the ridge, and then we'll shut down and get some lift off of that. See, this is the beauty of touring gliders. You know, on a regular glider, I'd need to turn back towards that basin, find a nice field, and sit down in. Oh! Sorry, I just have glider on the brain today. I found out recently that most gliders, like, apparently setting your glider down in some farmer's field is not a hugely uncommon occurrence in the hobby. It happens a lot. So most gliders are designed to fit on specially designed trailers really easily, and the wings and everything basically just slide off super easy. And they have these little special, like, covered cradles they can sit in, so that they can be rescued from the fields of, like, farmers and stuff. And I just found that to be fascinating. Okay, let's check, while we're under power and it's not as big of a thing, let's check our position in relation to where we want to go. Alright, we're heading almost directly there. I know that this graveyard, this aircraft graveyard, is near this Air Force base. So if we get kind of close, we could do a couple circles and check it out. I am just keeping my, what's it called? I'm just keeping my nose a bit low right now, trying to fly efficiently so I don't need to use, like, full throttle to climb. Like, this thing does have, you know, this little auxiliary motor in the front of it, but it does, you know, it doesn't have a ton of battery. It's still meant to be light, so we just want to get up to this ridge top, and then we're going to cut the engine and take off. Let's go ahead and check my zoom. I think this is... Yeah, I would assume that as a glider pilot, you probably have some kind of insurance for it. I think probably the best place to set down wouldn't be an actual, like a farm that grows crops, but like a cattle pasture would probably be the best place to set down. Because, you know, as long as you stay away from the cows, they're not going to care. But I mean, out here in New Mexico, like, you get back on that basin back there, there are a lot of places to land here. You know, not where we are, but if there was some sort of problem, major issue, I could cut the power, turn back north into that basin, and just, you know, putter back, you know, to, yeah, putter on back into that basin and find a place to land. we should... Okay, I'm going to bring us close to the ridgeline here. Because you can hear that variometer is beeping quite a bit, but a lot of that is the fact that we're under power. Now, surprisingly though, we're only about half throttle right now, so a lot of the climb rate we're getting is off of the air around us, and not necessarily the engine, which is just providing us with a bit of airspeed. There's actually a, I've said in the past that if I ever got the chance, gliding is a hobby I think I'd like to get into. There is a pretty popular gliding club in Boulder, Colorado, so maybe someday I'll go, you know, pay the money and do like a test ride and see just how, you know, how I feel about it. There's also a YouTube channel I follow, but for the life of me, I can't remember its name right now, of this guy in New Zealand, and he does, like, glider races. So, like, he'll race across New Zealand. Yeah, he'll race all the way across New Zealand in a glider. And he has a similar setup to this one, where it's a powered glider. So he can fire up his little auxiliary engine if he needs to, and you know, to get him out of trouble. All right, here we go. Now let's be up here if we can find ourselves just the littlest bit of lift. She's thinking about it. She wants to fly. There we go. Yeah, there's not a ton of wind today, but there's just a little bit, which was what I was checking when we started the stream, is I wanted to see if I could find a place where we actually had some good wind to do a bit of gliding. There we go. Okay. There's a ridge right over there that I'm hoping we can reach. Once we finish riding this ridge, we're going to see if we can catch that one. We're getting tons of altitude now. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those hobbies that, what is it? The YouTube channel that I watch where the guy glides all the time and does the races, I mean, it's a little morbid to think about, but he's lost some friends. Like he's lost people that he knew and cared about to the hobby. I've spent years riding motorcycles though, so I mean, as morbid as it is, I'm fairly comfortable with the concept of my own mortality. But it's something that you gotta be, you know, you do have to be careful with. It's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's not fun to think about, but there are a lot of hobbies out there that can be a little bit sketch, you know, I guess is the best way I'd put it. But, you know, in all the times you all have seen me play, I've never crashed a glider. I've crashed that stupid Optica plane and the Dark Star, but never a glider. I will say that the one nice thing about gliding is altitude equals time. So as long as you can get and maintain a bit of altitude, you can buy yourself a lot of time to figure out what you're going to do if you can no longer find any lift. All right. Let's turn back south and head towards our next ridgeline. Ooh, there's some good lift. you can see we are getting some good climbs here. All right, let's go ahead and trim her out for super efficient flight. And let's see if we can reach this little mini ridge and then that little mountain range right over there across this valley. There we go. My only problem with, well, the thing with gliding is also, if you join like a gliding club that has good fees for renting gliders and stuff, it could be a pretty cheap way to get into flight. I mean, I do my best at, you know, well, this thing is this D1001 Neo or whatever, GG whatever, it's actually a pretty difficult glider to kill yourself in. It does a lot to help. Like, there's not really electronics, it's just really naturally stable. Like, let me give it a couple clicks of trim here, and that's my hands off the controls. Like, this is the glider flying itself. No autopilot, nothing. It's going to bring its nose up a little bit and drop speed. And when it drops speed, it'll produce less lift, and then the nose will come back down, and it'll bring up, the speed will come up a little bit. But yeah, this glider is right now flying itself. Like, they don't want to, most planes don't, when trimmed out properly, don't want to crash. They like, you know, they'd have less customers if they did. That's what I always say about motorcycles is, they don't want to fall over when you're going like more than 5 miles an hour. They'd have a lot less customers if they did. But the, oh yeah, gliding, from what I understand, can actually be, if you have a good gliding club near you with good rates on rentals and good, like, low membership fees, it can be a fairly inexpensive way to get into flying, because it costs, I think, like, tow fees are not hugely expensive. Like, tow fees are like $50 or $75. And then you have an hourly fee for the glider. But after that, it is, you know, after that, it's up to you. You know, how long you stay in the air. So it can be a bit less expensive. What is wrong with you? I will turn you off if I have to. In fact, I don't need my power system, so I'm going to turn my FCU power off right now. Save some battery there. And we can just flip it on when we need power again. But yeah, like I said, you can, if you have most airplanes and like a glider like this, it's especially true. If you have it trimmed properly, you can take your hands off the controls and it will just kind of float along. That's why that homeboy who jumped out of that airplane for YouTube views, that's why that was so dangerous, is like, planes like that, even with an engine out, will go for a very, very long time without a pilot. You know, they'll fly by themselves, just kind of gliding along. Because most airplanes are meant to be fairly naturally stable. You can also see, like, how little control input I put into this thing to get a result. You can, like, the stick is tied to my actual HOTAS, and you can see I'm barely moving the control stick to get control movements in, because, yeah, this thing is just very stable. Okay, let's check where we are on our map. All right. We need to actually, once we pick up some lift here, we'll actually need to go ahead and turn west. Okay. So we'll get over to this ridge and pick up a little bit of lift, and then we'll turn back west, and we'll go see some old airplanes. Alright. Anywho, what else? Oh, the other thing too is landing these things can be a little bit exciting because when they get into ground effect, they do not want to land. So you'll have spoilers on a glider like this, which are these big plates that come up out of the wing and just kill all the lift you have to try to put it on the ground. The other thing you have is you have water ballast tanks, which makes a glider like this much actually heavier. Because if you're flying in an area with like very high wind and you get over a ridge line, you need to actually have the weight on you so that you can descend through those updrafts easier. Okay. Yeah, just floating along here today. Really pretty day to fly, actually. Couldn't be clearer. Had the I have the weather set to whatever the weather actually is down here in Arizona. Really just couldn't be a clearer or prettier day. I don't know what the temperature is outside, but... Okay. I think Tucson's back over towards the left side of the screen over there. So let's see if we can pick up some ridge lift here, and then we'll go see if we can putter over into Tucson and see this aircraft graveyard. Come on. Come on. Give me some lift here. There it is. All right. There we go. So we're gonna head over to this ridge and just pick up some lift, and then we're doing a total about face, fly down the ridge and down into the city to take a look at some aeroplanes. We're doing all airplanes all the time for a little while today. And then, yes, tomorrow, everyone, Portal. Which is, you know, a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit different from the type of game I usually play on this channel. But, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really bad at Portal. I only play it, like, once every couple of years because I want the puzzles to feel new. But, yeah, if Portal goes well, we'll probably do Portal 2 as well. Probably not tomorrow. I'll probably just I'll probably do my best to try to get through Portal 1 on stream tomorrow. Come on. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and turn west because we're not catching a lot of lift off this ridge. And I don't want to spend all day over here. So we will... And of course, as soon as I say that, we get a whole bunch of lift. All right, there we go, everybody. There is the city of Tucson, Arizona. Okay, here we go. And now we are looking... We're going to look for some airplanes. Once we finish hanging out in this thermal, which is actually giving us tons of lift. Okay. Now I know it's here. It's not going to show up on our VFR map, unfortunately, but that's okay. Let's, Davis Mountain Air Force Base Graveyard. Closed. That probably means the airspace is transitionable. But yeah, the guy I follow in New Zealand also did a video where he did some high altitude gliding, and he went up to like 20-something thousand feet. Like, he brought oxygen on a glider with him. And there's this like really, really funny part of it where it was like, oh, don't worry. If we need to talk about geology, we will. We can talk about the basin and range formations that are all around us. But he goes up and he's, in class, what is it? Class B, or yeah, Class A airspace, way up high, where like jetliners fly and stuff. So he has to talk to like Auckland Control, and at one point they were like, "Oh, we need you to descend like X number of 1,000 feet," and he was in a mountain wave, so he like basically points the nose of his glider down through this upstream, and he's doing like 200 and something kilometers an hour in this glider trying to get down to comply with Auckland, and they call it back and they're like, how's that descent going? And he's like, I'm a glider, I'm descending as fast as I can. He had his spoilers out and everything, trying to get down away from the out of the way of these airplanes. It's a really cool video. But yeah, what you do see here is basin and range. So you see mountain uplifts and ranges separated by large sedimentary basins. We had that happen in Colorado recently. Well, not recently, a couple of years ago. And it got absurdly cold. It was like negative 40 degrees for like an hour around this like valley lake up in the mountains. And that's like terrifying, because if someone had been camping up there, like you're in trouble. You're in like real trouble. Oh, that's a big sink. That's not good. That's a big old sink. There's okay, the wind's starting to pick up, so we're getting a lot of lift here. But yeah, those things are terrifying to me because battery chemistry doesn't work really well in super cold temperatures like that. So like my big fear has always been if I was like car camping or something. Like, when I car camp, my thought process always is, if it gets too cold, I'll just start my car. And when it's that cold, battery, like, even lead-acid battery chemistry doesn't work that well. So you may not be able to start your car. That's amazing. Also, like, yeah, I just don't understand how you start, like, because a tank would be diesel, too. I don't understand how you start up a diesel engine in those conditions. Because diesel turns into like a gel in those conditions. There's actually a really good episode of Top Gear where they put Richard Hammond in this chamber that's specially designed to test cold weather, like military equipment, and it can get down to like negative 30 and then a wind chill, and they basically leave him in this car to see if they can get it, cold enough where the car won't start. And they eventually get it down to the point where, yeah, the battery's not producing voltage anymore and it can't turn the engine over. But it is an insane temperature because gasoline stays, a liquid much lower than diesel does. Top Gear is old Top Gear when the trio was there. Hammond, Clarkson, and May was amazing. The newer versions of Top Gear after Clarkson, Hammond, and May left are not as good. But Clarkson, Hammond, and May went over to Amazon and did the Grand Tour there, which is, imagine Top Gear, but with an unlimited budget. I think the first couple seasons cost Amazon like $200 and something million. And I mean, the Grand Tour, when they had that unlimited budget, like, their journey through Namibia on beach buggies is amazing. They did a lot of trips. Their journey through Mongolia is really, really cool. Like, for me, the best episodes of Top Gear were always the ones where they did the big trips and they did the challenges. Because at the end of the day, for me, like, Top Gear was as much a show about travel as it was about cars. he's one of those guys, how do I put it? He's a relic of a bygone era. You know, he's that larger than life TV personality. And that can be a plus, you know, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, having that kind of personality. But, you know, it is interesting when you put him in the room with other personalities like that. Like when you see his interview with Gordon Ramsay, and you have those two kind of people with that same personality, and they just start to go back and forth and feed off of each other. Like, it's really interesting stuff. But one thing I will say about Clarkson is he is famously a bit of an ass, but supposedly to his friends like Hammond and May, he is fiercely loyal. You know? Alright, we're looking. I think that looks Air Force-y. That looks like graveyardy out just our left side of the screen. I'm going to bring the front of the glider around so we can take a look. Yeah, that looks like a graveyard right there. I think that's it. It's not as spectacular as I was hoping it would be, but, you know, I think that's part of our mission right there. As you can see, those are airplanes sitting on the ground. Huge airplanes. Like, I think those are B-52s right there. And those are C-5 Galaxies, almost assuredly. These are C-130s. Those are more Galaxies over there, or large transports. Honestly, I like Gordon Ramsay's YouTube channel. I think Gordon Ramsay is a way better YouTuber than he is a TV personality. Because, like, his YouTube channel, it's not the character Gordon Ramsay who, like, yells at people and stuff. It's him hanging out with his family and, like, actually enjoying cooking and teaching you stuff. But yeah, there's our aircraft graveyard right there. I should have brought a powered plane so we could get lower. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy that is the completion of our mission. Now we have to turn back north and head back to the airport and see if we can make it. So let's go ahead and go to our VFR map. I wish I remember what airport we took off at. Hey, 200 nautical miles. Oh my god. There's no way we were that far away. I'm gonna say this is the airport that we took off from. San Manuel. Yeah, that's the one. Alright, sweet. But yeah, I really like his YouTube channel because, like, some of the cooking stuff he does there is, I like the content better. It's more like, instead of yelling at some poor person who's doing their best, he's, like, genuinely teaching you, the viewer, how to cook. Now, usually he really wants you to buy his cookbook, but I'm gonna be honest, if you have a good palate and a good sense of smell, you can kind of figure most of his recipes out if you just buy all the ingredients and put them in the dish in amounts that smell good. I did a recipe of his, which was pork chop on a bed of roasted peppers one time. Oh my god, it was so good. Yeah, fun fact, I also really like to cook. I have threatened a cooking stream for many, many months, and someday I might do a cooking stream. Yeah, he's alright. I'm not a big fan of many of his TV shows. He does do one TV show called The F Word, and I like that one because he will bring a celebrity in to his kitchen, and they will have a cook-off. They will cook a dish against each other. And it's funny because a couple of celebrities that he's brought in, kind of surprising ones, have beaten him. Like, they'll taste test at his restaurant, and a couple celebrities have actually beaten him. Specifically, interestingly, James May from Top Gear beat Gordon Ramsay. They were making like it was like a fish pie, and James May spent the entire time while he was cooking drinking heavily, and like getting himself drunk, and then he beat he beat Gordon Ramsay. It's so funny too because at one point while they're cooking, Gordon Ramsay asks James May, "Do you always drink this much when you cook?" And James May responds, "It dulls the horror of the food that I make," which I always thought was very funny. Well, and that, yeah, Spud, that's why I'm saying, like, his YouTube channel is better. His YouTube channel, he doesn't do that. It's much more just about, like, teaching you how to cook. Like, his video on how to cook steaks or steaks and stuff is really, really helpful if you're just getting into cooking and you're cooking a steak for the first time. There's a couple other really good cooking channels on YouTube if you ever want to get into it. But yeah, I can get it. His personality can be a bit... Like I said, I don't really like many of his TV shows. I like his YouTube channel. It is interesting, too, that you see different groups of people behave very differently when they're not playing their character. Funnily enough, he's a comedian. He's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand that. But Larry the Cable Guy is like a completely different human being when he's not in character. It's really fascinating if you see like one of the rare videos where you see him out of character. It's actually very interesting because that... Yeah! Oh, that's a good reference. Well, and it's like what is it? That character is evolved. Like, his first iteration of Larry the Cable Guy was he would be kind of nervous and stand on the stage with his head down and not really move at all. And the character was kind of just, this hit guy trying stand-up for the first time. That was the whole character. And it was really funny. The newer, more cartoonish Larry the Cable Guy isn't entirely my cup of tea. But it is very interesting, that you do see, like... You see these celebrities who've built... Yeah, they built the character, and they have to live that character a lot of times. Someone eats a cheeseburger while... Well, I mean... You could have a sandwich in these things. Guys who fly long distance. Is this a reference I'm missing? I'm not very cool. I miss a lot of references. Because, there are, people who fly these gliders for 12 or 13 hours at a time. I mean, they gotta eat. There is a pro wrestler called Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. I am a closet pro wrestling fan, by the way. And his shtick, one of his, like, gimmicks, is he never breaks character. Like, back in the old days with wrestlers, if you saw them in the airport, they were supposed to be in character. That was part of the thing. It was called kayfabe, which is an old carnival code word that would say that, like, fans are near, you need to get into character. Maxwell Jacob Friedman lives his character. Ooh, okay, I might have to check that out. I've watched a couple channels where they review MREs, and I only have one MRE in my possession right now, and it's the lasagna, which I've heard is not very good. I've thought about eating it just to see what it's like, but I'm kind of afraid of it. It kind of scares me. I love those MRE review channels because you do find out that, like, there are MREs that are apparently, like, at least on the American MRE stuff, there are MREs that are apparently fire. They are apparently so good. And then there are ones that everyone knows are kind of trash. I also watched a video a while back that was about the office at NASA that does all the space food. They have, like, a whole office that does space food. So if you're going to, like, a mission on the ISS and it's going to be, like, an extended stay mission, they basically build you your meal plan that you're going to eat while you're up there. and they ask you what sort of foods you like, and then they weigh kind of what you like versus what nutrients you need, and they help you get like a complete meal plan that will help you taste good. Then they assemble that for you and send it up with you. And of course, you know, they have to weigh everything and make sure everything is copacetic with, like, you know, the plumbing up there. Not to be too gross, but you know, it's a really, really cool video. I wish it might have been Smarter Every Day did a video on it. I can't quite remember, but it was a really, really good video. So we are looking for a bit of lift, and we're not going to make it up to this ridge line to our right. I think wind is coming from the south right now. So we're going to try to get around this ridge down this direction, and then we'll ride this ridge up, get some altitude, and then turn north for our landing and approach. If we have a lot of altitude, which we might have, I might even do a stunt or two, because this glider can do a little bit of aerobatics. You can do mild and light aerobatics in this glider if you want to. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to check that video out because that sounds awesome. Like, that sounds super neat. We are just floating along here. There's not a... The thing I'm concerned about is, and I'm kind of aiming for that hole in the mountains right there. I'm concerned about being behind these mountains, because typically, if the wind's coming from the south, or coming from the north, sorry, there could be a sink behind this mountain range, where the air, after it comes over in the wave, you have this like rotational sink that can happen. Now, there's some guys who can ride the part of that rotation up and get a lot of lift. I don't know how to do that. That's hard. Also looking along this ridge line here to see if there's any nice, pretty alluvial fans for us to look at. We are going to come around this mountain range and exit the valley that Tucson is in here. And then we will start working our way back to our airport. San Manuel Airport. Well, and there's a reason, of course, when we were looking at this flight plan and it said 32 minutes, I was like, nah, we're not going to be done. It's like the MRE channel. Okay, all right. I want to know, you know, in case the world ever ends, I want to know which MREs are good. I do, you know, I wouldn't call myself a prepper, but I do keep about 2 to 3 weeks of camp food at any given time. And every few years, what I'll do is I'll just get some new camp food and rotate that old camp food out by just going camping. And I will say, the best, like if you ever see Backpacker's Pantry or anything, the best meal from Backpacker's Pantry is the shepherd's pie. It is so good. It is so good. Their Santa Fe chicken is also really yummy, but the secret with the Santa Fe chicken is you want to use a mixture. Instead of putting in like the full, like I think they asked for 2 cups of water. Instead of what you want to do is you want to take 1.5 cups of water and like a 1/2 cup of really, really light, kind of basically flat beer and put in there. Ooh, so good. Favorite and least favorite candies? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I have to think about that. I don't have as much of a sweet tooth as I used to. A lot of things these days are too sweet for me. Like, I don't drink soda anymore because it's too sweet. But for candies, I gotta say licorice is my least favorite. I think that's easy. That's easy. Licorice is my least favorite candy. I'm gonna be honest, I dig the hell out. Like, my favorite candy might be Gushers Fruit Snacks. I dig the hell out of Gushers Fruit Snacks. Like, I need to be kept away from them. Also, Skittles. I really like Skittles. Like of every variety. I'll eat the berry ones, the tropical ones, the sour ones, the regular ones. And now that the Skittles, they have the lime back, Skittles are, yeah, I think it might be Skittles. Skittles or Gushers are my favorite, and then licorice is probably my least favorite. You can hear that we just dropped into a sink and we're losing a ton of altitude right now, right over this ridge, which is not good. But I'm hoping if we can get to this ridge line just in front of us, we'll start to hear that happy little beep that means we're gaining altitude. I will say that, like, I don't drink a lot of soda, but if you put me in, like, the old-fashioned soda bar where they have, like, the water and the syrup, I will drink soda in that case. Like, an actual, real, old-school style cola tastes so good. Like, I was actually really, really sad because Red Bull did a cola for a while, and nobody drank it, and I think it's because people didn't understand, like, it was like a real old-school cola. You weren't supposed to guzzle it like you do Coca-Cola. You were meant to sip it, you know? So it had a really strong flavor, and it tasted really good. And they used cane sugar in it. You know, I'll rock a Mexican Coca-Cola every now and then. You know, like once a year, if I find one. But, like, there's our lift. You can hear that happy tone. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't think about it, but, like, it was so good, and I'll be honest, I've never quite gotten over it being canceled. You know, the fat kid inside me is not happy they canceled Red Bull Cola. Come on, where's some lift? We're looking for it. We're trying to find it, everybody. There's got to be some lift around here. There we go. It's not a lot, but it'll get us home, I think. But, yeah, I mean, it's the same frequency, like, maybe, like, once a year, twice a year. Mountain Dew Baja Blast, but it has to be out of the machine at the Taco Bell. We talked about gliders for a while. We got our glider talk done. Now we're talking soda and candy. This is a very, what is it? This is a very stream of thought Twitch channel. Also, these structures to our right, these large spiky structures, are very likely ancient volcanic dikes. Just so you know. That's crazy, actually, because I know Wonka Brands is a candy, like a subsidiary of some larger candy company, because they make Nerds. I didn't know that it was originally a full-on tie. I mean, I assumed it was some sort of tie-in with the film, but I didn't know it was like they actually tried to do the Wonka bar. I actually recently, too, have gotten into dark chocolate. Like I said, I don't eat candy very often, but dark chocolate, as I've gotten older, is something I like because, like, it's super bitter, but, like, you just... The reason is you need to take little bites of it and kind of, like, let it aerate and breathe, and then it tastes really good. Especially if you do the flavored ones that have, like, peppers or orange zest in them. Oh, it's so good. Okay, we're getting a little bit of lift here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our map and see where the heck we are. Okay, so we're still pretty far south of our airport, so we need to just fly along this ridgeline to the north and see if we can get as much lift as we possibly can out here. That's fair. I feel like dark chocolate is definitely not for every, like, that is an acquired taste, if there ever was one. Because when I was a kid, I hated it. I hated dark chocolate. I thought it was, like, if I was at your house, if I was trick-or-treating at your house on Halloween and you gave me dark chocolate, you were on my shit list. You know, when I was a kid, I'd eat a box of raisins over dark chocolate. Of course, I actually really like raisins, so... but, what is it? As I've gotten older, I've started to like dark chocolate. I used to hate avocados and guacamole, too, and now I can't get enough of them. I think it's weird how your tastes change as you get older. Chocolate raisin, that's funny. White chocolate's pretty good. Have you had the... Lazy, have you had the cookies and cream crunch bar ever? Because that thing's fire. I'm gonna be honest, this is the sort of chat interaction I wanted when I started streaming. Just a long, long conversation and debate about which candy is best. Yeah, I don't eat a ton of white chocolate, but I will say the cookies and cream crunch bar is fire. But, like, they started making those white chocolate Reese's, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Nothing about this makes sense. This is unnatural. There's a little bit of lift. I don't know what we're getting it from, but I'll take it. Okay, we're just... Oh, what is the one that's like all peanuts and car... Payday. Do you like paydays? Paydays are tight. There was a really good bar that Snickers for a while made a protein bar, and it had a little bit more sugar than other protein bars, but like it was only a gram or two more, and it was way better tasting. Also, I really like Cliff Bars. I don't know if you've had Cliff Bars, but the white chocolate macadamia nut Cliff Bar is the best Cliff Bar. Like, going back to what Lazy said about white chocolate, I'm usually not a very huge fan of, Cliff Bars, but I will say the white chocolate macadamia nut Cliff Bar is the most superior one. Oh, you don't... Okay. Well, Cliff Bars, they're kind of like these granola bars. They're a very, like, outdoorsy company, but they taste so good. Like, if you go to the store, they won't even be on the same aisle as the candy. They'll be on, like... Okay. Have you had a Mr. Good bar recently? Oh, I had one like a year ago, and I was like, where has this been? But yes, Gushers and, Fruit by the Foot. The Wild Berry Fruit by the Foot is sinfully good. Oh. We are getting a little bit low here, but I don't want to have to turn on my engine again. We got it. We did it on our initial climb. I want to be gliders. So we're gonna see if we can just fly. Oh, that's a horrible sink. That is a horrible sink. We are now falling. Oh, I would say any licorice is like F tier. I am not a fan. Like, it is just not for me. I don't know why. It's not for me. I mean, I don't want it like eliminated, but never for me. I will eat like carrots and hummus over eating black licorice. I will just straight up go healthy if black licorice is offered to me. I mean, America, we do pretty good on our snackage, but the real world champions of snackage is the Japanese. The Japanese are like, their junk food is decades, and I mean decades ahead of ours. I don't understand why, like, you go to Japan and everybody's skinny, and I look around and I'm like, how? Your junk food is so good. I didn't know this. I didn't know that they lived in a peanut butter food desert. Like... Okay, come on. Come on. We're getting a little bit of altitude here. How many miles do we have left to go to get to this airport? Okay, we're not too far away from it. If we can find some lift, we might be able to make it. Oh, you're from, so you're in Africa? What country? If that's okay, or at least what region? Because I've been to Africa twice, and I want to know if we've been near each other, within the same, like, 1,000-mile radius. Yeah, because I've been to Egypt and Tanzania, and I desperately want to go see Namibia. Peanut butter is genuinely one of the greatest inventions of all time. Like, just like peanut butter on some crackers or with some celery is, it's fire. It's so good. Also, if you're not putting peanut butter on your waffles, you are missing out on one of the greatest things that exists in the world. Like, peanut butter on waffles is one of the most beautiful and wonderful things on the planet Earth. For some reason, though, peanut butter on pancakes doesn't taste as good as regular butter on pancakes. I don't know why. You'd think it would translate. It does not. I feel like maybe it's like the texture of the waffle. Okay, here we go. One, it's almost like it's so good with everything too. And the other thing about it is it keeps. Like, peanut butter just keeps forever. You can have a jar of peanut butter in your house that's like 5 years old that you've already opened, did not refrigerate, and like, you know, if you go pop it open right now, it's gonna be, you know, some of the oil might have separated out of it, but all you have to do is stir it back up and you're good to go. Yeah, peanut butter is one of my favorite things in the world. You throw chocolate into the mix, and good God. Good God. So yummy. Okay, we're trying to get enough lift to get over these ridges over here and find our way back to our airport. And I'm a little concerned that we may actually have to use our motor here, because we're just not seeing the lift that we like to see right now. Though I'm starting to hear a little bit of lift hit us. Come on. That's what we needed right there. You can hear it. Those wonderful little beeps that say we're climbing. Okay, we're gonna try to get over this ridge and then get down to our airport. I don't think we'll have the altitude to do any acrobatics, unfortunately, because we're a little low. But you never know. As we come over this ridge, maybe we'll catch the lift that we need. What else? Okay, we've covered candy, the Vulcan launch, gliders, small amounts of geology. We've really covered a lot in this first hour. I swear, this is like the most schizophrenic stream when it comes to like talking about random crap. But yeah, that was a good conversation topic. Favorite and least favorite candy. What else? What other interesting? Well, I mean, favorite and least favorite foods too. I don't think I could choose a favorite food though. My tastes are so varied on food that I love it all. I mean, if I had to eat I could probably get down to only 2 kinds of food for the rest of my life, like Mexican food or Japanese food, but I could never decide between them. Like, I just love ramen and sushi like crazy, and I love Mexican food. See, yeah, Tex-Mex is, like, I grew up in Texas, so Tex-Mex is near and dear to my heart. Like, it's so yummy. Okay, we are now heading straight for it. So we just got to get over this range right here, and hopefully we'll be able to catch enough lift to get down to that airport. Do I think I can even see it from here? We need to know which way the wind's coming. Okay, let's get some automated weather.
Echo 77 automated weather observation 18000.
Scheiße.
Wind calm. Visibility 10.
Crap. Wind is calm, so we're not gonna have good help from the wind. We're gonna have to just see if we can glide it out, which maybe we might make it. We might just make it to this airport. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on our nose, level out here, and start just trying to maximize every single little bit of lift that we have right now. We could always dump our ballast if we need to increase our glide ratio ever so slightly. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and they smell so good, right? Like, yeah, a fajita cascade is I believe the scientific term we should call that. All right, I think that helped us right there. I think ditching the ballast gave us the lightened load that we're gonna need to get there. We're definitely not gonna have another shot at landing. All right, let's go to ATC. Let's go ahead and select a runway for landing. Which runways do we have? We're going to want to select, I think, 111 so that we'll have a little bit of room. Let's go ahead and announce full stop landing. Let's announce our position.
Echo 77 traffic Foxtrot Sierra Sierra, 5115 miles southwest 6,000 feet inbound to land runway 11.
This airport doesn't really look that busy, so thankfully we won't have to drop into a pattern or anything. We should just be able to come in and land, and wow, without ballast, this thing really wants to fly now. Oh, I love ramen. Like, just... There's something about going into a ramen restaurant, too, that, like, when it's cold outside, walking in and my glasses fog up a bit, and then, like, it smells so good in there. And you just get a giant bowl of, like, awesome broth and noodles with a little bit of pork. toss a little bit of chili, like, what is that brown chili sauce they have in there, and just go to work. It's so good. Like, that right there is just comfort. Like, there's no other way to describe it. That is just pure comfort. All right, there's our airport right there. And we are locked in here. Let's go ahead and switch our zoom on our MFD here down a little bit. Oh, that's a sink. That is a sink. All right, here we go, everybody. Glider landings. We're going to definitely be using our spoilers today to get to spoil our lift once we get lined up, because we're going to come in a bit steep. I want to come in with more speed than I need. Don't want to stall before the runway, and I mean, while you can go around on this thing, in fact, let me go ahead and switch on my SCU power. Open the cover for my FCU, my backup power, just in case I need to go around. I guess we can, actually, because I do have a little motor. Hey, that's good, though, that, like, you helped out, you know, you helped a parent learn. I've recently got into, I don't get to do it very often, but I've recently started going and getting hot pot with friends. And there is this hot pot place near me where it's like you have like 4 hours, or not 4 hours. You pay like a fee for the time at the table, and they just bring you food. And they don't stop bringing you food, but you have 2 hours, and you eat as much as you possibly can in 2 hours. It's so good. But yeah, I am a believer in the ramens. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and come out just a little bit. Okay. And we're gonna line up. Now, we have a lot more lift than we need right now because I dumped all that ballast to get us here. So we're going to just come out here and we're going to do kind of a quick, just gentle turn. Yeah, if you like ramen and you had pho and it sucked, then you just went to a bad place. Like, pho is so good. Like, pho is amazing. I considered trying to make pho one time, but pho is crazy. It takes, like, a day to make. It takes so long to make. Ramen's the same way. Ramen takes, like, a day to make correctly. Alright, we're coming around. Whoa! Just needed to check and make sure. Yep. Let's get our landing gear down. Here we go. Now, as we nose down towards the runway, whoop, you're going to see our speed is going to absolutely skyrocket. So we're going to click those on.
Echo 77 traffic Foxtrot Sierra.
Here we go.
511 is on final runway 11 to land.
And we're just using these spoilers to both control our lift and our speed. Here we go. All right. Here we go. And we're a little high, so I'm going to leave the spoilers on for a while this time and just let the glider kind of fall. You see, as soon as I turn those spoilers off, this thing is so efficient in the air that the acceleration is pretty shocking, actually, how quickly it'll gain speed. All Alright, here we go. Another thing you can actually do here, if you need to, is you could do a side flip to lose a lot of altitude very quickly, while presenting as much drag as possible to the air. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go, everybody. Okay. Spoilers are on. Off, on. Here we go. There we go. We're down. It's so hard to control this thing once you get down on the ground, but there we go. That is a successful glider flight. We accomplished our mission of flying down and looking at a graveyard. And now we're going to go do, like I said, I'm leaving it up to the chat. If not, I'll flip a coin for it. Bush flying in the Himalayas or some seaplane flying in the Caribbean? Let me know. I've been meaning to take out the Beaver or the Icon A5, but I also wouldn't mind flying a Pilatus. I was going to start at maybe Key West and just see where the day takes us. I mean, I don't know. Let's go take a look. Let's see where we could fly. Let me go ahead and turn my wind filter off. Open filters. Wind effect, ground off. Okay. Let's go down here and see what we could go look at. I mean, we could go fly, you know, we could do Nassau to Spanish Wells. That seems like that would be an interesting flight. I don't know what Spanish Wells is, but it sounds cool. They have an airport. Of course, if we're in a seaplane, where we're going, we don't need runways. Okay. Okay. Where the heck is where's Puerto... Oh, God, I feel like such a fucking American when I say that. Where the fuck is Puerto Rico? Is this Puerto Rico? That one's Puerto Rico, right? Don't make fun of me. Okay, Puerto Rico. And then to Trinidad. Okay. Where is Trinidad? St. George. I've actually been to a couple of these places, but I was very young. Plymouth. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's find an airport first. Something small. Something small and cool. What is this? Oh my God, they have the Arecibo telescope. Okay, new plan. How long is this runway? 1,500 feet. I don't know if I can get off the ground in 1,500 feet in like a plane. What about you? How long are you? 2,900 feet. I feel like that's a reasonable airport. Is this asphalt? Huh. Interesting. The slightly larger one right down by South America. This one? Hang on. I'll just look it up on Google's. South of there. This one? I'm going to the Googles. It will help me set this up. This guy. Okay, cool. All right, so here's what we'll do. First, this might be a long flight. We may not get this one done today, but here's what we'll do. We're going to set our start at Arecibo. So we're going to set as departure. Then we'll go down to Trinidad. We may not make it through this flight today, but like we'll at least do part of it. Because, okay, that's an international airport. That's too big and scary. Okay, we'll set that as our arrival. There we go. Yeah, it's 7 hours and 45 minutes. 40-something minutes. We might not make this today, but I'll tell you what, we'll do part of this today. We'll fly down to like... Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's just going to take forever. Okay, first of all, let's switch aircraft. If we're going to do something this long, I definitely want to have something with an autopilot on it. So, where is my Beaver? We could take the A5 up. The A5 is good for short jaunts, but it does not have an autopilot. We could take the Pilatus P6 turbo with the with the floats. The problem with that one is the same. It has an autopilot, but the floats don't really work right, and I don't know if they ever fixed it. This is our guy. Okay. This is going to be our guy. All right. Let's go to weight and balance. Let's load this thing with fuel. Okay. Boom. Okay, we're not quite going to have enough fuel, but why don't we do this in parts? So we'll do this one today. We can stop at a couple places today. So why don't we do this? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do this in parts because this would take 8 hours. And I'm a little bit like, while I love the concept, I just don't quite have the time. I know, it truly is. Like, not my proudest moment. Okay. First, we're going to go here. We're going to add this. I might have just crashed Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, I think I just crashed Microsoft Flight Simulator. Nope, it's trying. It made a noise. We might have to restart Flight Sim here in a second. Okay, I would like to add that, please. We're just not going to add things anymore? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the main menu, and we're going to relaunch the map. Delete departure. Okay. Kill that, because you're not doing what I tell you to. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Are you out of here? All right. Hey, Spud, thank you so much for hanging out and talking. I really enjoyed the conversation. Good luck with continuing to set up the, what is it? The aquarium as well. You know, have fun. And it was great. Have a good weekend if I don't get to see you again. Okay. We're going to set that as our departure. And let's set... That's Princess Julia International Airport, which I actually think is a freaking awesome landing. But let's come up here. Let's go to the set as arrival. Okay. That is still way too long for a stream. Let's try, what about Road Town? Here we go. Water landing. There we go. That's more reasonable. Now we need to add in some stops. I want to add this in. I want to add this in. So we're going to stop at a castle, and we're going to see a big radio telescope. Well, the ruins of a big radio telescope. Perfect. Let's go make sure I have my fuel load full. And I want you to be my departure. I don't want that engine running when I start. Okay. All right, here we go, everybody. Flight conditions. I want it to be live flight conditions. Here we go. Let's do this. All right. First, we have to start it. And starting this thing, as I remember, is a little wacky because it's so old. Okay, real quick, I'm going to take my poncho off while we're loading. Oh, there we go. Oh, now I'm cool. All right. Okay. All right. right, show me. Look at this beautiful airplane, everybody. That's right. We're going old school, folks. All right, did it delete my flight plan? It did. Oh, there it goes. It finally showed it. Good. Okay, here we go, everybody. Let's get her started, and then we'll worry about everything else. First, yoke visibility off. And let's just go through the thing. Fuel selector, let's go center tank first. Boom. Okay. Master battery. Get our radios on. Okay. Now... Okay, we want to... Let's get a selected altitude of like 5,000 feet. There we go. We'll turn our autopilot on eventually. I'm going to wait till these guys boot up, and then we'll get our... we'll get everything good. Okay. Okay. Okay, hit there, and it's going to search for its satellites. Click that off. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and check this and make sure it's set up the way we want it. Set up for cargo. Co-pilot visibility off. Yoke belt, pilot cover, pitot cover, cold cover, rudder lock. Oh, we have our canoe with... Do we have our canoe with us? Because, yeah, I know you can strap a canoe to the outside of this thing, which I've always thought is hilarious. We're taking the canoe. Okay. Next step. Let's go ahead and... Okay, there we go. Let's get our prop set. Okay, prop is set. That's set. Okay, we're doing like... Okay. Panel lights, beacon lights, nav lights, cabin lighting, pilot floodlight, pitot heat, booster pump, starter engine. Okay, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Okay, that is selected. Okay, so it's between GPS, so that's good. OBS, we're good. I think we're good to actually navigate out of here. We'll have to switch this to nav mode, which is now on. And then we'll need to put on altitude hold mode eventually. Let's also go ahead and move, just in case we have issues. Let's go ahead and find our heading select. Heading bug, heading compass. Because we'll want to come out to the southwest. There we go. So we'll have that ready to go. All right, here we go, everybody. All right. Let's set our magneto position to on or right to both. Okay. Now we need to do our wobble pump to get some fuel. Cabin carburetor heat. Let's do our wobble pump. Okay, we have a boost pump here. There we go. Easy, easy, folks. She starts right up. Alright, we're going to turn our booster pump off because it's loud and I hate the noise it makes. Panel lights, strobe lights, landing lights. Leave those off. Beacon lights, nav lights. Okay, there we go. That is set. We look good to go. Okay, that's all set. All right, let's get our weather. Okay, let's go to let's get our weather. Unless we don't have weather. Screw it. Let's do this. We're gonna depart to the south.
Tango Juliet Juliet Alpha.
All right, here we
Bravo
go,
traffic,
everybody.
We have a land November 9er Tree Echo taking off runway 8 departure to the south.
All right, runway, what did it say? Runway 8? Okay, let's check our BFR map. Let's go here. I need to just see which... Here we go. All right, easy peasy. We can actually see, this is so weird to actually be able to see out of a plane while I'm taxiing. All right, mixture should be all the way rich. Prop should be up. Let's go. Here we go. And that taxiway just ends. Okay, here we are. You gotta be a little careful on these giant floats. This thing is a little bit... It's not the most stable thing in the world when it's on these float wheels, so you gotta be a little careful with her. She likes to act up a bit, but we'll get her up there. So we're just gonna taxi out to runway 8, everybody, and then we're gonna go take a look at the ruins of a great scientific instrument. Just a nice, beautiful day of flying in the Caribbean. In an island named Puerto Rico that I totally knew where it was. I definitely didn't need help. Okay, I'm just getting my rudder trimmed out a little bit right now. Trimming for takeoff as well. Oh, we need to turn our alternator on. That would have been embarrassing. Okay, here we go. Come on, big girl. She's old, but she still knows how to do it. Yom! Here we go. Okay, we're gonna hold short here and just check out our windows, make sure everything's okay. Okay, we're gonna configure the aircraft for takeoff. Okay, flaps down. Yeah, that horrible grinding noise is my flaps moving. Really quickly, let's just make sure we are in... Yeah, takeoff, climb, cruise. So they give you the full... They tell you exactly how to use them. All right, here we go. Locked in. Here we go. Near full throttle. We don't want to bring our prop revs too high. Here we go. Airspeed is good. And we're up. All right, let's get our gear up. And it's hard to hear, but you can literally hear he pumps the gear up. He has to pump the hydraulics up. Okay, we're going to come around and start heading southwest towards Arecibo Observatory. Okay. And we're just trimming it out right now as we go through this corner. Just bringing her around, and yeah, we're gonna go take a look at an old radio observatory, the largest in the world at the time when it was built. Sadly, it collapsed several years ago. Shockingly spectacular fashion. I mean, it wasn't shocking that it collapsed. It was more just shocking that it was captured on camera. And I mean, it looks like something out of it's sad, but it looks like something out of some kind of action movie. Arecibo Observatory, famously, very famously, was featured in the movie GoldenEye, which I think many people of a certain generation do revere GoldenEye as one of the better video games of all time. Let's lean that mixture out just a tiny bit. We're still pretty low. And let's start climbing. And, you know, we'll just fly manually this for now. You know, this is a nice little flight that we can do without using the autopilot. I do have the autopilot set up right now, just in case I need a quick rest or I get a lot of chats and anything, and I have to talk to you guys quite a bit. I can look away from the screen for a second with my autopilot on. Okay, so we are pretty nicely trimmed out, actually, and we're just flying back towards our what's it called? Our vector line, our course line here. We do have a notification here on our message. Set course 228. Got it. Okay. Okay. So we'll just keep on flying up here. I really do love the way this plane sounds. It's got that big radial engine up front. Just super old school seaplane. Everything is completely manual in it. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's get turned towards our first checkpoint here. Alright, now I'm just trying to trim out a little bit. I think we're pretty good. And now we're flying towards Arecibo, and we're not too far away, so we should see it pretty soon. It's not going to be hard to miss. I'm actually going to climb a little bit more. Because it is nestled in these hills up here. Give it a little bit more throttle. We were losing a bit of airspeed there. But yeah, we'll just throttle up for a climb. Okay, there we go. Come on. Here we go. Beautiful flight. Really pretty day to be flying around Puerto Rico. I don't usually fly very much in this part of the world, so this is kind of an exciting moment. Now, we're going to look down here, because I want to see if we could see it when we come over, at least the ruins of it. It's a beautiful day, too, like 70-something degrees outside. Just a nice day to fly an airplane. See my, what is it called, my GPS in the bottom right corner of the screen is telling, well, actually my face is covering it, dang it, but it's telling me to prep to take a left turn and get onto my new course, once we have, of course, seen what we are looking for here. So we're going to go ahead and just gently start a left turn here and try to find it. Is that it down there? I think that's it. I believe those right there are the ruins of the Arecibo Radio Observatory. Yep, that's it. So there it is, everybody. The last kind of vestige that it was there after its collapse. You can see the giant shape of it just in the bottom left corner of the screen. So there's Arecibo, everybody. That's pretty cool. All right, let's finish our turn here. Start the next leg. They are 3D. So there are several types of cities they do in this game. So they have cities that have gotten custom touches by the Microsoft and Asobo development teams. And then they have cities where they're using photogrammetry and an AI system to interpolate what buildings might be where. So you can actually typically in this game fly to your house if you want to. Your house won't look exactly like what it's supposed to, but there will be a building there. Because, yeah, they tried basically to put the entire world into the game. Alright, so we are up to speed here. Now I'm going to back the throttle off just a little bit and start trying to get us some fuel economy so we can actually make our trip here. It's a kind of a careful balance between trying to be efficient and getting us where we need to go. Now, how high up are we? We're just over 3,000 feet. Okay. Let's go ahead and engage the autopilot. Okay. Maybe I need to go down here and click that. Okay. Autopilot on. Is it on, though? Is it doing its thing? Well, I swear, machine. Nav mode on, approach mode off, altitude hold mode on. Okay. You could get pretty high. I don't know if you can entirely go to space, but the Dark Star will take you pretty close. Like if you want to give it a try, the Dark Star will take you to right up to the edge of space. Okay, so this plane is not heeding my command to activate vertical speed mode on. Okay, now it's doing something. The autopilot in this game can be a bit suicidal. Now to hold them on back course mode. But it will not let me change my vertical speed. Weird. Nope, it's just... Okay. Autopilot on, please. It says my VS mode is on. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, now it's actually flying itself. Let's see if it can come around and find our target line that we would like to head towards. It should be set for GPS. So I'd like to have, I like having my autopilot set up, even if I fly myself a lot of the time. So, and planes like this, as you can see, I mean, it's autopilots were retrofitted to a lot of old aircraft like this, so your autopilot system is a little... It makes sense if you're not like me and you don't wait to set it up until you're flying. Okay, our cylinder temperature is a little bit low, actually. We could probably lean our mixture way out. And we'll keep an eye on that cylinder temperature and see if it rises for us. Okay, there we go. But we're going to come around now. Let's take a look. It is bringing us around, or at least trying to. Nav mode on. Toggle heading hold. We do not want that right now, but let's go ahead and switch our heading. It's kind of roughly what it's supposed to be, which is north and east. Okay. Okay, just getting everything set up here, folks, so we can have a nice little flight today. The game is really fighting with me a little bit. But I think it's going to turn any second now and come back to our target line any second now. Come on, turn. Why are we just going in circles, airplane? Why are we just going in circles, airplane? No, it definitely wants to go in a circle. There we go. Navigation mode. Okay, we're going to figure this out. I've got plenty of time. We're just going to go around in circles until the plane does what we tell it to. Oh, is it going to try to fly us back? No, it's still turning us. I want to know what it's doing and why it's doing it. Nav mode is on. What's our current altitude? I mean, it's got us right where we want to be. Airspeed's good. Is it going to take us back to the start of this leg? It can't be that dumb. Alright, we're just going to give it a second and see if it actually locks us on this time, because finally it's actually showing that the nav mode is on, our vertical speed is on, altitude hold mode is on, so it should bring us directly onto our target line and then turn towards our next thing. We're learning about this. Come on. Come on. Crash miserably. It's surprisingly not... There we go. It's surprisingly like, you know... I feel like every single time you crash in this game, you learn something. You know, I feel like you learn something every time. Okay. Alright, we're going to go to heading mode here in a second. If it takes me for another circle, we're just going to go to heading mode. Nope, I think it's locked onto its GPS path. Now it knows where it's going. Okay, that just took a second, everybody, to get the nav mode to actually switch on. We are good to go. We're going to let the plane come around here. And we're going to settle into our path. Now, we're flying towards a castle. There are castles in the Caribbean, which is fascinating. A lot of forts, a lot of castles. I actually saw this. I went on a cruise to Puerto Rico, I want to say when I was, like, really young. And we saw a castle. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm going to keep flying. I'm not going to go to commercial break. I'm just going to go put on my poncho. Okay, now I'm warm again. Oh, cozy poncho. Okay. Yeah, Puerto Rico is gorgeous. I'm gonna have to go here again someday. There's another airport right there. Interesting enough. Actually, I think that might be the one we took off from. I knew that. All right. Now we're stably flying. We're doing good. Let's go ahead and take a look at our... Let's take a look at our nav system here. So that's our next waypoint. Okay. Okay. Oh, we have a message. Set course to 0.91. Okay. 091. There we go. So if we have to kick on to our heading, we can do that. Excellent. Super helpful. Okay. These are our frequencies, so we can operate our radio through all of this. Let's go down and take a look at everything else. Panel light brightness, floodlight brightness. Oh, these are our fuel tanks, too. So we can see we pulled a lot of fuel out of our middle fuel tank. Let's go ahead and pull a little bit out of the rear. So we grab this. There we go. Set that to our rear tank. This is our fuel boost pump. Typically, you can turn that on if you are landing, too, so you always have fuel pressure. It's kind of an annoying noise. We should have a fuel pressure gauge. Yeah, there we go. There's our fuel pressure gauge. So if we turn this off, you'll see our fuel pressure drop ever so slightly. But we have a mechanical fuel pump as well, so we're good. And these are our radios and avionics. Battery master, alternator master. Everything's just really clearly laid out. Like and also, like, this right here is your landing gear pump. This literally raises and lowers your landing gear by pumping manual hydraulic pressure through it. This is your oil filler cap. Okay, let's tighten it. Emergency cutoff for fuel and oil. If there was a fire or something, you'd reach down and pull that up, and it would shut fuel and oil supply off the engine. Yeah, I really like this plane. This is just such a nice, fun, cool plane. Really cool old plane. You can open the door. We're not going to do that while we're in flight. Oh, this is your water rudder handle. So after you land and you're going too low for your air rudder to work, you lower your water rudder. And you can see it's on a cable. And you just pull up and latch here. Everything's super simple, super easy, super, super mechanical, which is very cool. Okay, so let's find out how far we have till our next waypoint. Because maybe we want to go a little bit faster. We're making good speed right now. Switching that mixture up ever so slightly. Okay, let's take a look and see if we can figure out how far we are away from our next waypoint. Okay, elevation 15 feet. Approach VFR. Okay. Map zoom. Let's go ahead and bring this out. Okay, we've still got a ways to go. Oh my god, I might have bitten off more than I can chew for this stream, everybody. That's alright, we'll fly along for just a little while, and if we... What's our VNav page? Oh, interesting. Interesting. I do like how you can really control everything on these awesome little things. When this game first launched, a lot of the avionics didn't work so well, but they've really put the work into making sure that like they can get them, working correctly. Cylinder temperature is still a little bit low. Let's see if we can lean out even further. Okay, let's see if we can get that cylinder temperature to rise up a little bit. Where is my fuel flow? I wish I had a fuel flow gauge to tell me how much fuel, what my fuel burn was. Huh. So I've got my fuel tanks right here. That's my fuel pressure, oil pressure. Typically, you'll have a gauge that will give you your rate of fuel burn. That's my inches of mercury inside my manifold. That's my manifold pressure. Interesting. Maybe you just have to do your fuel burn rate manually on this thing. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, that is okay. All right. You can see some pretty dark-looking clouds up there. Possibly might contain a bit of rain eventually. Been a while since I've flown in the rain. Let's check this. Well, let's zoom out a little bit. We're wasting good time. We're just not going that fast. I get a little spoiled flying in the Rockies because there's so much interesting stuff around you that you never have to fly very far to go see it. Beautiful shadow effects from the clouds. Oh, it does have pitch and rudder trim. That is nice. We are very trimmed out. What else? What else cool stuff about this plane can I tell you guys? It's, you know what? Yeah, this is taking too long. Can I warp? And I feel like I can time warp. Active pause. Travel to. Well, I don't necessarily want to do that, so we'll let it go. I wish you could fast forward. It would be neat. Can I open it? Oh my god, the door can open. That's hilarious. You see my canoe down there. Actually, that's cool. I want to, now that we're safely under autopilot. External. Look at my canoe. Look at my awesome canoe. Why do I have ropes hanging? Why do I have my tie-down ropes hanging from me? I should see if I can turn those off. But yeah, there's my canoe. And I have a paddle for it right there. Yeah. There's my awesome airplane. Looking beautiful. Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now, really quickly, since this is kind of not the most exciting part of this flight, is I'm going to leave the autopilot on. I'm going to go to quick commercial break here really quickly and go use the restroom. So I will be right back, everybody. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to throw us on our commercial break, taking a break screen, but we will be flying in the background. Give me 1 second. And we're back. And we are back. Still flying along towards this neat castle. We're actually almost about to be there. So I think when we get closer, I'll take control and we'll do like a low flyby really quickly and take a look. And then we'll settle in for the long haul to head towards our destination where we will do a water landing. Very cool stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. We still got a ways to go, but... yeah, not too far. And then we'll be about halfway through this nice little flight. So maybe we will hold out. Maybe we do a water landing out in this bay near this castle, and then we'll take off and finish our flight. I think that would be fun. Okay, just checking something. All right. Sorry, I had to check something really quickly. I had an email come in that just needed my attention. All right. We are puttering along here very nicely. The plane is flying beautifully. We are leaned out on our fuel. So we should be getting a nice amount of... does this actually change whether it wobbles or not? It is not. Okay. We should be getting a nice amount of fuel burn, and it looks like we are. Like, yeah, we're burning out... we're burning, you know, yeah, we're burning out a little bit more than like a couple gallons, like I think 5 or 6, maybe 8 gallons an hour, which for this plane is actually really impressive. Like, this is not a fuel efficient aircraft, everybody. It's old school. Back when they were just like, put a bigger gas tank on it. Fuel efficiency, emissions, nah, it burns oil. Back in the day. Okay. Everything looks good. Getting some pretty good speed out of it. I mean, we're not going a million miles an hour here, but that's okay. We don't need to. This isn't that kind of mission. Now, there's an awesome looking bay right there that I'm thinking about taking the plane down in and setting up for a water landing. Our landing gear is up. So we should be able to actually land in the water. All right, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to back off the throttle just a little bit. Let's richen our mixture and bring our prop up to a slightly faster speed setting. And let's just very, very gently come on down, and you can see this bay in front of us. Let's go pop our landing lights on, and we'll do a quick landing in this bay, and then we'll flip around, take back off again, and get back on course. But this will be something fun to do. Hopefully there's not too much chop. Okay. Trim this big girl down just a little bit. Come on, girl. Come on. I know you want to fly, but now we want to land. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and check our VFR map, make sure this is actually what I think it is. GPS tracking. Yeah, I think we'll have more than enough room to set down there, take off. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come in just like this. There's an airport up there that we'll probably have to fly around as well, but that's okay. That's all right. Our waypoint is literally right by the airport, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure they'll let us fly through. Doesn't seem busy. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin bringing our throttle back. Let's bring our fuel mixture basically all the way rich. I'm going to bring our throttle way down, and we're going to start bleeding off speed here. Here we go. Okay. Let's get our first set of flaps down. Okay, I'm going to do a quick prop adjustment here, just a little bit. All right, here we are. Now we're just lining up to land in this little bay. Okay, we're going to throttle up ever so slightly. We are losing a lot of speed, which is good. Being a little bit gentle. I haven't done a water landing in a very, very, very long time. Water landings can be really fun or really terrifying. The swell does not look too high looking out the front of the plane. So I think we should be good to go. Okay. And we're gonna just come on down. Here we go. A little more throttle. We're bleeding off a good amount of speed, which is good because once we get over this bay, it looks big, but this bay is going to disappear really quickly when we're flying over it. So we want to bleed off as much speed as we can right now. A little more throttle, tiny bit more throttle. Let's throttle back just a little bit. We want to stay on a descent. I'm going to fly over this nice little village here. Okay, here we go. Okay. Still descending, just like we want to be. Give it a little bit of rudder trim. Here we go. Very nice. 80 degrees outside. Beautiful day here in Puerto Rico. You see some awesome soccer fields, or I think those are soccer fields or tennis courts down there. We just want to come over the top of these trees here and settle into this bay. Just like this. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and get our water rudder down. Water rudder is down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do that. Look at me almost like I know what I'm doing. And now with the water rudder down at low speed, you can see we can taxi about if we want to. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to float here for a second, and I need to go to this airport and request an airspace transition. So TG or TJIG. Let's go here. Okay. Okay, it's not going to let me do that while I'm on the ground. Well, whatever. We'll just take off. We'll just fly low around this thing. Okay, now we have to take off. Now, we should have a fair amount of runway in front of us right now. So we just want to stay pushed in, or we just want to stay into the wind. So we're just going to kind of let the wind tell us which way it's going. If I just let off, the wind is basically going to blow us into facing it. We'll call this close enough. All right. Now, I'm going to leave the water rudder down for takeoff. Some people pull it up, but I'm pretty sure it can handle it, at least until we get up to speed. So let's go ahead and get our airspeed up just a little bit. Let's bring our flaps up to the takeoff position. Okay, now we're moving. Let's go ahead and pull our rudder up. Rudder's up. Okay. Full throttle. Well, nearly full throttle. And it's that simple, everybody. There we go. Nice. All right, let's go take a look at this castle. Like I said, we're going to be kind of in the flight path of this airport, so I'm going to stay really low to the water. And we'll climb out once we're free of this airspace. Okay, here we go. Kind of just using our trim and our throttle right now to control our altitude. She does kind of want to hip down a little bit for our instead of staying level, but that's okay. Oh, sorry, my chair keeps the thing that keeps you from like leaning back keeps coming undone. Okay. Look at that. So that should be our castle up there on that hill. There we go. Fuel's looking good. Let's go ahead and pop our fuel while we're flying to the front tank. There we go. Supposed to be a castle over here somewhere. Okay, we'll just stay low here and come over these buildings. I'm not seeing a castle. I'm seeing what looks like a factory of some kind. I'm wondering if it just wasn't rendered. Now that definitely is an airport in front of us, so I'm going to go ahead and take us over to the left here, and we'll just fly down the coastline underneath all this traffic until we're clear of this airspace. Let me actually see if I can... ATC... Nope, it will not let me find... Nearest airport list. Okay, it won't let me request an airspace transition. We're just going to assume I did. Just a pretty day to fly, too. Lots of clouds. I'm going to lean the throttle out just a little bit since we're not really that high, but you can sometimes lean it out, and we've got lots of headroom for our cylinder temperatures, so we can be a little more efficient. Just fly over this gorgeous beach right here. I don't even know what city this is. Let's find out. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hell yeah. Beautiful town. Really pretty. Okay, so our next goal is to get to one island over, and then we will land on a water runway and probably call this stream basically done. I know this isn't as exciting as my last stream was, sightseeing in Colorado, but I wanted to mix it up, you know? I wanted to go try, you know, some new locations. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll as soon as we're free of this airspace, we'll go ahead and climb back up to our cruising altitude. But yeah, coastal cities like this are just gorgeous. Like this is so pretty. You can see like reefs underneath the water out there. That's so cool that they would even map those. All right. Fuel burn looks pretty good. Just gonna keep our speed up here. We're making really good time flying this low. I do have us pretty cranked out because I want to get through this airspace as quick as I can. Once again, we're kind of assuming for the with our imagination, we're kind of assuming that I requested airspace transition because the game won't let me call the tower and request transition, so we're just assuming. You can see the airport. I wish I could, like, actually, hang on, let me use my mouse. You can see the airport off to the right there. It's airspace we are flying through. And we're just going to stay low and out of the way. Okay. Things are looking good. This is a good song. This is a bop of a song. We're just flying around the coast here. Ooh, what's that? Like an office building. It looked like it might be interesting from a distance. I wonder if they don't have Puerto Rico fully mapped yet, you know? Like I said, there's a lot of cities and stuff where they do like custom mapping, and I wonder if they just don't have certain parts of Puerto Rico fully mapped out the way they want to yet. Because yeah, they'll do city, like I've flown around cities I've lived in and they're extremely recognizable from the air. Oh, my computer is struggling right now, folks. Struggling, I say. Flying this low to the ground, you know, it has to load all these details. And it can be a little rough on it. Can I open... Okay, now I must know. Can I open these while flying? Ah, it won't let me open them while flying. Lame. We're just cruising along, nice and low and slow until we get out of this airport's airspace. We're still working our way through it. I wish I had more interesting facts about the de Havilland Beaver. It is a neat plane, though. These things really became like kind of like an earlier version of what the Pilatus PC-6 or PC-12 is it PC-12? I think. No, it's the PC-6. Kind of like what the Pilatus PC-6 became. The Beaver was like a backcountry workhorse, you know? If you lived in a small town in like Alaska, Canada, the Caribbean, parts of Southeast Asia, like these things, they ended up all over the place. You know, it's one of those planes that really did end up all over the place. And they're used pretty much for delivery and small-time passenger service pretty much everywhere. And tons of them are still flying. Like, they still fly, and some of them are owned by, like, private collectors and stuff, but there is a whole, like, there are fleets of these things that are still doing what they've been doing for, like, you know, 50 years, which is just flying cargo around to parts of the world that are very hard to get to. It's kind of amazing. Alright. We're going to get past this, and then we'll start climbing up to our cruise altitude. In fact, let's do that now. Let's just bring our nose up ever so slightly and start climbing up to our cruise altitude. Let's make sure that's set to 200 speed. Let's make sure our vertical speed per minute is off. And let's go ahead and turn our autopilot on. Okay. A little bit low to be looking away, but come on. Should see it ever so gently bring our nose up. Come on, plane. Do as I tell you. Okay. There we go. Okay, now she's climbing. Oh, you can see our shadow. Look at that. That's great. That's so neat. Like, that's pretty cool. I'm sorry. I'm very easily, I know I'm very easily impressed, everybody. But being able to see my shadow out the window, flying on such a pretty day in such a cool place, this is kind of why I like playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, is it's so relaxing and chill. You know, got to talk today with a bunch of really nice people. So you can see we've got a ways to go, but I think we're going to get there quicker than you think. I was going a little bit low and slow, and now that we're what's it called? Now that we're out or nearly out of that airspace, we're going to start climbing back up to our what is it called? Our cruising altitude, and I'm going to start kind of configuring the plane a bit more for speed so that we can cruise over between these islands and get where we are going. I wish it would give me a... I wish it could give me a... what's it called? A estimated time of arrival. Let's check our messages. Set course to 110. Okay, thank you. let's go to this, and let's set this to 110 in case we need a backup. Okay. Yep, set course to 110. Okay, that is set up. And I really wish we could get ourselves a... Oh, that's fine. That's cool. I could still see someone was watching. You're good, Lazy Dev. You're chill. Do not worry. Yeah, you do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay. These are all these settings. What I need is I need you to tell me nearest airport. What I really need you to do, machine, is I need you to give me a... Oh, is my ADS off? How do I turn my ADS on? Okay. Huh. There we go. My ADS is on now. I can actually see other aircraft. Cool. Let's go out to 12 nautical miles so we can see aircraft behind us. That's neat. Okay, cool. I learned how that works. That's right, everybody. You're learning how to... Okay, now we're gonna go to... What I'd really like to have is a... Okay, there we go. Distance, 47.6 nautical miles. 27 minutes. That's not too bad. Okay, let's go to... You are set to nav, right? I don't know why it's taking us kind of far away. I guess we are following the...
Tango Juliet,
We are not.
Mr.
It is
Traffic Pair 2711 is on
taking
final
us
runway
somewhere.
to land.
It is not flying us to where we need to go. Okay, nav. Huh, interesting. Well, if it angers me enough, we'll just set it to hold heading. You know what? Screw it. Heading. There we go. Okay, that's a little more reasonable. Now we're actually going where we're supposed to. Okay. Traffic, vertical navigation, just going through all of these and learning how they work. Fuel planning, nearest waypoint. Okay, Unicom. Give me a countdown, machine. Give me a countdown. There we go, navigation. So. Okay, 44 nautical miles, about 24 minutes. We should be there. Let's take a look at our VFR map. But yeah, we are making a good time here. So there we go. I got it. I figured out how the machine works. This is what we're doing. Now, I still don't know why the navigation system isn't taking us where we've pulled it to. But we're gonna get a little bit closer to our course line, and when we do, we'll worry about it then. In fact, let's go ahead and just bring that over ever so slightly, and we'll let it fly itself. There we go. Beautiful day for flying. Have we reached 3,000? We are still climbing. I have it set to take us up to 3,000 feet, and when we get there, we'll be good. All right. Interesting stuff. Yeah, it's a little unintuitive to navigate, but these multi function screens that Garmin does, they can do so much. Okay, cold cover. Dual VOR CDI. Ooh, we want to try that next time. All right. There we go. So just flip that off for now, and we're good. We're flying. Yeah, Lazy, aren't you the one that does... Weren't you talking yesterday, I think, about how you do missions in real time in KSP? I mean, if you're still there, if you're not concentrating heavily on something that you're doing. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty blown away by that. That might be one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, switch to our center tank. And we're looking good. We're flying beautifully here. What a pretty day to fly, too. Looking out the window. Caribbean waters out there. I believe that island up there might actually be where we're heading. Let's take a look at our VFR map. It is not. It is halfway to where we are heading. Oh my god, we have such a long way to go. I don't know if I believe this thing when it tells me it's 38 nautical miles to where we're going. I guess that makes sense. Once we get leveled out at altitude, we'll be able to spin our Ooh, that's terrifying. I can actually turn circuit breakers on and off. Oh, I was asking, aren't you the one that told me you do missions in real time? You don't use time acceleration? And I totally understand not wanting to turn your turbos into green spots on the terrain of a planet. Check everything. Just going through checking while we're flying, making sure everything's good. I like that they have a little map here in your door pocket. You have your maps. That's a cool detail. I feel like this is one of the best planes they added after the beginning of the game. It just everything basically works. Okay, somebody else said that? Alright, cool. Who was that said that? That's crazy to me. Oh my god, you can literally pull all of the circuit breakers out. That is terrifying. Let's click my landing lights off. Oh my god, you can literally reset all the circuit breakers. That is terrifying. Okay. Well, we're getting where we need to go. We are almost up to our cruising altitude. I think we just actually hit it. We're going to go ahead and, keep the motor nice and leaned out here. We're going to go ahead and drop our prop speed ever so slightly and see if we can just pick up some speed. And bring that cruising speed up nice and high.
Tango Juliet Victor Quebec traffic pair 2711 is on base runway 9er.
There we go. That's a nice cruising speed right there. 140 knots. Now we're flying. Okay. T's and P's are looking good. That makes sense. Yeah, who was it that said that? I can't quite remember, but yeah, somebody said that they like to do that. I was just blown away. I was like, what are you saying? Let's bring our throttle down just a little bit. We're going a little quick here. We're going a little quick for a plane with a canoe strapped to the side of it. There we go. To bring it just under about 145 knots. And yeah, the plan being, let's get there quick. We're nice and leaned out. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, sitting through this flight right now is not... I kind of over-planned it today. And I didn't mean exactly to do a flight that was quite this long. I mean, we learned that we have, what is it, ADS-B in this thing, which is super cool. So we can literally turn on our anti-collision stuff. You have all these awesome... I learned how to use this thing. I feel like I knew how to use this at one point, I just forgot. Or yeah, our ADS. There we go. So we are locked in. We are getting where we're going pretty quickly here. I think next week we will do some flying in the Himalayas. Maybe I'll even take this Beaver out in the Himalayas. Okay, 14 minutes to go, which I just don't see right now. Let's go ahead and zoom out a couple clicks. And start thinking about our... So we're looking at the airport as VI22. Let's go ahead and go, and let's go to back. There we go. Select a runway for landing. I think we were going to land on runway 11.
Victor India 22 traffic to Haviland November 9er Tree Echo 28 miles west 3,000 feet inbound to land runway 11 water.
Alright, there we go. We're set up there. They know we're coming. Alright. We are... How far out are we? Let's check. We are 13 minutes out at this speed, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and start setting up to land. So let's go ahead and lower our desired altitude to 2,000. We're going to set vertical speed mode on, and we're going to go... Okay. Altitude hold mode off, vertical speed mode on. We're going to start down at 200 feet a minute. There we go. Hey, what's going up? And that. What's going on? How are you? Okay, we're gonna back off the throttle just a little bit. Keep a little bit of power in it because we want to get there quickly. We are flying to a water runway in the Caribbean right now. As you can see, oh wow, look at that. Through the mist, you can see the island coming out. That's pretty neat. That's cool. There's another island, that beautiful island that we're flying by. So we're beginning our descent into, I don't know what this island is called, but where it's this island, and we're going to be landing on a water runway in this old seaplane that I'm in. Very tailspin. A trombone audition. Which one is the trombone? Assume that I don't... It's not a tuba. Is it the one with the thing that slides, where you slide the thing in and out? Is that a trombone? Slidey, slidey? Okay, alright. You know, I have a colossal amount of respect for anybody who can play a musical instrument. I've always wanted to learn to play a musical instrument, but the one I want to learn how to play is kind of dumb. So maybe someday. And in case you're wondering, the musical instrument I wish to learn how to play is the hurdy-gurdy. That's the dream. Okay. So we're locked in here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. There we go. What is that? So our zoom is 35 nautical miles. We are about 11 minutes out. We are... Okay, yeah, you were here like 2 weeks ago? Cool. Yeah, I do remember. You have a very unique name. But I didn't know... I don't remember if you actually told me that you played the trombone, though. I feel like that's new information to me. Okay, we're going to check. We're just starting to do our final checks here. You did? I must have forgotten then. I have a lot going on IRL these days. So my stream, what I'd like to call my stream attention or memory is very low. But I'm sure it's not because I didn't find it interesting. I'm sure it is simply because, yeah, life has been coming at me quick recently. All right, we are set here. We're locked in. I like our heading and position. Let's go ahead and announce our position again.
Victor India 2-2 traffic de Havilland November 9er Tree Echo 2 1 miles west 2,400 feet inbound to land runway 11 water.
Okay, we're gonna land runway 11 water. So it's just past this airport. We're gonna land in this bay. So let's go ahead and go to comms. Okay, we're looking for TTIST. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and tune their tower. And why will it not let me request a airspace transition? We're going to assume that I did. In fact, you know what we'll do? We'll come around to the south of this airport, and we'll land. We'll come up, and then we'll turn into our final. Okay, let's do that.
Tower generic November 212 Mike Foxtrot 5 miles west inbound ILS runway 10 approach. Generic November 212 Mike Foxtrot Tower. Altimeter 29er wind 144 at 5.
Yeah, we'll come in from the
ILS
south.
runway 10 approach.
You know what? They know we're coming. They know we're coming. They'll clear things for us. All right, here we go. I mean, I feel like sorry, I was just getting distracted there for a second. I do feel like everyone's got a lot going on these days. It seems like, especially 2023, it seems like no one had a good year. You know, I got high hopes for 2024. I want 2024 to be just wonderful, because it feels like it just was the worst. Okay. All right, we're down to 2,000. Let's go ahead and drop to... Let's go do that. And we're going to turn altitude mode off and do vertical speed down 200. And we're going to keep descending, everybody. Okay, it's saying we only have about 8 minutes before we get here, so we need to really start seeing. This island is shrouded in mist. Yeah, well, I mean, there was that plane crash, I think, in Japan, and I think everybody, yep, there's been a lot. Well, and then, I don't know if you saw this the other day, there was that plane flying out of Portland that got the door sucked off of it. Like... Also, apparently aliens invaded a Miami mall last night. You know, it was definitely not teens fighting. It was totally aliens invading a mall. Which, there was a huge evacuation of a mall in Miami, Florida. And, the what is it called? There was a rumor flying around online that like 8 to 11 foot tall ghostly alien creatures had been spotted, and like 60 police cars showed up, and it was this big thing. It was probably just some teens fighting or something. Something got out of hand, or somebody called in something. I don't know. But for a while, like, Twitter was blowing up, and it was like, holy shit, aliens are here, and they've decided to invade a mall in Miami. It was hilarious.
128.65. Good day.
Okay, we're bringing the plane down a little bit quicker here because we need to start shedding a lot of altitude pretty quickly. And pretty soon as we come over this island, we're going to need to start shedding a bunch of speed.
Runway 10 approach. Spirit wings 284 heavy tower. Altimeter 29.98 wind 14. Spirit wings 284. Generic 2 Mike Foxtrot.
Okay,
Follow the
St.
generic
Thomas. I do not need St. Thomas Aegis. I need.
Cleared to land runway 10. Cleared to land
I use a full joystick. Like I have a full hands-on throttle and stick for this.
wings 284 heavy. Spirit wings 284 heavy number 2 for
November 9 retreat Echo 12 miles west.
So yeah, I've had the same stick and throttle for years now, and they're still going strong.
Cleared to land runway 10 number 2 Spirit
But
wings
what we're doing
284
right now is we're just using the autopilot to kind of bring us in. I want to check this VFR map. Now we're going to come over the top of that airport. We're going to cut across, but we should be able to be high enough to not interfere with their pattern if we hold altitude at probably right about here. Let's bring that up to like right about there. Okay, we're still heading down for some reason, even though I've told the plane I'd like to level out. You know what? We're doing it live. Here we go. Rest of this flight we'll do live. Okay. All right, we're locked in. Let's get it done. I want to level out at about where we are now. And we've got our throttle, we've got our mixture richened up, our prop is set. This is a VFR flight. IFR is scary. I'm not very good at it because it's just a lot to manage while you're flying. But I will use my autopilot here and there for my VFR flying, just to get me near where I need to go. But now we're under full poopy boop control.
Spirit wings 284 heavy contact San Juan Center on 128.65. Good day.
Okay. And even though the game didn't give me the opportunity, we're just going to assume I did on PIST on St. Thomas. I did get an airspace transition here because I tried to get an airspace transition and it won't let me select that. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and kick my landing lights on so people can see me. Really pretty time. Very misty out here around St. Thomas today. A lot of haze. Okay. We will be in several minutes. I've got to cut across the island and go around this airport, and then we're going to set up for a water landing. See if I can get a little more throttle or power out of this thing. There we go. bring our speed up a little bit, because I slowed down a little bit before I needed to. Okay, here we go. So we're going to fly over these couple mountains and ridges here, because we don't want to, I don't really want to fly directly over this other airport. I'm trying to be a little bit realistic about how I do this.
Generic 2 Mike Foxtrot, exit runway when able. Generic 2 Mike Foxtrot, contact ground on 121.9er.
Here we go. We got plenty of power, though. That's one thing I like about this plane. That's one thing I like about a lot of these little, like, more Bush delivery craft, like the PC-6 and this thing, is they always, you never feel like you don't have enough power. You never, like, you never are sitting there and you're like, oh, I wish I had more power. Like, these things are, especially down here at sea level, these things have so much power. And I mean, the PC-6 is a turbine, so it has a lot of power everywhere. This thing is a big, old school, what is it called, radial engine. But even then, like, it just, it oozes power. Okay, there's St. Thomas Airport, which we are just going to fly by. Like I said, we're just going to assume that we got airspace transition here. Fly underneath the traffic up in front of us. We do see them. Heck yeah. I think they have a Twin Otter DLC for this game. I just don't have it. Okay, we're going to come over the runway here, and as soon as we've cleared this runway, we're going to turn towards our landing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start backing the throttle off and bringing our prop speed up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and give us some flap. And we're going to start our configuration for landing. There's our... Okay, let's go to GPS tracking. I got to figure out which body of water it exactly is. So is it the one... Alright, there we go. I got it locked in. I know where we're going. Okay, we're going to richen our fuel mixture all the way up. Keep the prop spinning fast. Okay, flaps are in landing position. I think I originally got the premium version of the game. I bought this thing so long ago, I can't quite remember. Okay. A little bit low. We're gonna give her some throttle. Now it is set up as this being runway 11, which we should be almost lined up for it. Looks just about right. Ignore the boats that the game thinks is docked here. We're actually just going to come around this spot right there and avoid all those docked boats. Perfect. Here we go. And we're down. Whoop. We even bounced a little bit. There we go. All right, let's get our water rudder down. There we go. Water rudder is down. Well, let's go taxi to the airport. I believe I do have the 787. I can actually check when we're done here. but big jets are scary. I've tried to fly the 747 a few times. I am not very good at it. All right, let's go ahead and taxi. We'll go ahead and clean the plane up after landing. Okay, we want to keep our speed down a little bit. This plane will try to take off if we're not careful. I think so. I think. Like I said, I don't really remember because it's been so long, but I will check once we've taxied and anchored. Yeah, because I have a lot. Like, I have a lot of aircraft in this game. When I bought this game, like, I was all in on Microsoft Flight Simulator when I went ahead and purchased this. Okay, yep, then I do have the 747. Okay. Okay, here we go. We'll go ahead and dock just in this little bay right here. So we're going to shut our engine down. All right. Let's go ahead and feather the throttle, or feather the thing. And we're just going to come to a complete stop here, and we'll drop our anchor. Okay. So. Okay. Let's see if we can get our anchor down. Nope, it's not going to let us do it until we are stopped. Or does it make me cut the engine off? Let's find out. Yeah, there we go. Anchor down. All right. There we go, everybody. Cool. Now, let's set our plane up for storage. We'll put our pitot cover on there. We'll, and then we could do a yoke belt, or we'll do our rudder lock at least. All right, here we go. Next, we need to turn the plane off. So, we'll start by killing our landing lights, our strobe light, and our instrument light. Beacon light, nav lights off. Fuel boost is off. Radios, let's go ahead and double check our settings. Okay. Radios are off. Alternator master off. Battery master off. And she's cold and dark, everybody. Now, what we can do is we'll pop our doors open. And then, just to get one last cool look at this thing, because I think this plane is awesome. Let's go to our camera. External view. And there we go, everybody. We did it. I even brought my canoe, so I'm ready to paddle to shore now that we are, you know, parked and anchored. We're ready. Ooh, that's a cool picture, actually. All right, there we go, everybody. I think that is a good place to call it today. Let's go back to our main menu and make sure I have the 787. If by popular, yeah, I know. I really like this plane. I like older float planes, you know, or just older kind of bush style planes. They're just super fun. And this is like the only one of the game, I think, I'll have to look it up, where they got the floats right and the water rudders actually work really well. Like the Icon A5 has working water rudder, but it's such a new plane. It also doesn't have an autopilot, so it's a little bit better for shorter flights compared to what we did today, because we flew quite a distance today. We flew a really long way today. So, but yeah, look at that. It's got a big radial engine on it. Look at that giant radial engine in the front of it. And yeah, you could put a canoe on it. How cool is that? All right, let's go ahead. Oh, the plane's turning. Even though it's at anchor, the wind is turning the plane. So cool. That is so cool. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our main menu. And we'll check and see what planes we have. And if we want to, next week, I can fly some more advanced jets by popular demand, though I'm going to have to learn how to fly them in the meantime. So we'll just go here. Let's go take a look. Aircraft selection. Yeah, you can see the de Havilland Beaver there. I also have one with wheels on it. though I've rarely flown that one because, I mean, if you have floats, why not use them? This is a really fun plane to fly. The Zlin Aviation Shock Ultra. I will tell you, you will go nowhere fast, but this plane just basically doesn't stall. Like, you can, your landing speed can be like 23 or 24 miles an hour. Like, it just doesn't stall. It's amazing. Let's go up here. I do have, we've got a King Air. Got a couple, I've got a Bonanza. That's pretty neat. I think I've flown the Baron before. I just wasn't, twin engines add a lot of complexity. I do have the Spirit of St. Louis, which I have never successfully been able to, well, they're not there anymore. But no, I have the Spirit of St. Louis, though I've never been able to successfully get this plane off the ground. These are all my Pilatus PC6s. I really like the Pilatus PC6. It's like one of my favorite planes. I have the Pelican from Halo. If you're curious. I have a Kit Fox, which I've been meaning to fly more. I have the Orbis Flying Eye Hospital, which is a modified McDonnell Douglas. I have the Spruce Goose, which actually flies way better than you'd think it would. The Icon A5 I've been meaning for us to fly. We just haven't had time yet. This Flight Design CTSL is actually a really fun little plane to fly. It is an ultralight aircraft, and it's just so much fun. I have trouble with the Grumman Goose. The Goose is so cool, but it is hard to fly. Oh, yeah. I mean, I also have the Dark Star from Top Gun. Like, I've got a lot of realistic airplanes, and then a couple things. This is the Optica, which I've crashed every single time I've flown it. This is the DC-3. I have flown this a bit. This is a fun plane to fly, but it's autopilot. It's really hard to figure out. The Diamond, a couple Diamond aircraft are really cool. This is the TBM 930. This is another one of my favorite planes to fly in this game. Like, we'll do so. We did a little bit of flying with it last week. We will fly this thing more. This is the DG-1001E Neo, which is a plane I fly all. This is the Curtiss JN4 Ginny. This plane is hilarious to fly. We might do some flying with it. I have crashed it every single time I've flown it. This is the X-Cub. Fly it a ton. Love it. I've never really gotten my Carinetto to work. I can't get the tail wheel lock to unlock on that. All right, there it is. What you were asking about, and that is the Boeings. I do have the Dreamliner, and I do have the 747. I also have an F-18. And then we have a couple of Airbuses and Pitts Aviation Specials, which are hard to see. Honestly, the Special is a cool plane. It's just impossible to see out of. Yeah, we don't have planes with guns in this game. That's a different game, though. Those are different games. That's Kerbal, where you build the guns. But yeah, there's the Icon A5. I love flying that plane. It just doesn't have an autopilot, so it's a short jump plane, but that plane flies so good. There are mods. Maybe I'll look into it. Maybe I'll add. I've also wanted to do water bombing missions. Where you put out fires, and I know there's missions to do that. But anywho, everybody, those are the planes I have. Yeah, sign off time, I suppose. I've had a good stream. It's been about 3 hours and some change. I think next time we're gonna do some flying in the Himalayas. We'll probably, not do full realistic flight weather because we'll have to change the time of day. We could fly around Hawaii a bit. There's actually a ton of really good flying in the Andes that we can probably do as well if we want to. There's a couple really good flights down there. And then, of course, lovely, beautiful, wonderful Colorado, where we will continue to fly quite a bit. But for now, I'm going to let you guys go. I will say this. Oh, yeah, Lukla. We'll do Lukla. Trust me. If I say flying in the Himalayas, Lukla is going to be involved. Guaranteed. So keep an eye on this space. Tomorrow, we're doing Portal. It's going to be a good time. I'm really excited about it. And then, yeah. Outside of that, blah, 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 Instagram, blah, 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 YouTube. I have the same name on both of those places, so definitely look me up there. You can hear how cheap I am because you just heard a commercial on my YouTube playlist. But yeah, definitely check those out. And I will see you all same time tomorrow for some fun Portal times. And we'll get more Flight Sim in next week as well. So everybody take care. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful weekend if I don't get to talk to you again.